Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row, back with another BuckIQ. Beanie Wells is in the building, so you know that the Ohio State running back is going to be talking about a guy who can carry the football. Steele Chambers is the signee today as we continue to go through Ohio State's class. He's a guy who would actually play running back or linebacker. It's interesting, he won't yet know what he'll do for the Buckeyes. I wonder, Beanie, what you think of that, a guy who could play two ways, and if you're going to fight for him to be an offensive guy.
One, his name is Steele Chambers. So that says something right there. No question about it. I mean, that says that that's a guy that can probably go both ways and do it very successfully. You know, I'm one of those guys that, you know, I like the glitz and the glam. Yeah. So I'm probably wanting to pull him over to this running back room.
I know that there's not a lot, like you probably weren't coming in there like, oh, let's see if Beanie can play running back. I mean, so you can't necessarily relate to that. But when you're looking at film of these guys in high school, we did this with Marcus Crawley. What's the number one thing that you'll want to see? Because we're sending Beanie into this cold. We're going to see if he sees a running back or if he sees a linebacker. But what is the one thing that you'll be looking for with Steele Chambers when we put this on here?
You know, I'm more so looking at his athleticism. You know, seeing how this guy reads the holes on the offensive side of the ball, and then seeing his reaction skills on the defensive side. I mean, you know, there's a bunch of athletes out there that can do things on both sides of the football, but which one will he be successful at? Can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, we're throwing Beanie into it. We're going to see what he sees, get it live, that live reaction here on BuckIQ. So let's roll the tape. Well, being the first thing that stands out there, he's got some size to him. So when we're talking about running back or linebacker, he's got a little bit of that bolt coming out that thinks maybe he could line up on the defensive side, or he could come in as a stout guy like you.
No doubt about it. I mean, 6'1", 225 pounds, guy looks to be a bruiser, can certainly do some damage back there in the backfield.
If he's going to play running back, I mean, is he going to try to keep putting on weight, you think, or do you need to slim down at that size? And what's your first take when you just see this film here?
You know, my first take is he's going to play running back. I mean, I think he's perfectly fine at the size that he's at. He has some ability. He can get to the outside. He can outrun guys. And obviously he's a bruiser, so he can bowl them over and break some tackles. And that's something that I'm always impressed with young guys is their ability to be able to take on contact and keep on turning out yards.
I mean, making a play on the ball through the air like that's not
athletic.
A linebacker.
No question. I mean, that's certainly athletic. Watching him here, watching his vision, be able to cut this thing all the way back across the football field and see that space outside. That definitely tells you he's a very instinctive guy.
We're obviously cherry picking here, right? This is his highlight tape, but and he scored 26 touchdowns, so there's probably a bunch more of them coming here. But I mean, are you seeing the kind of vision that you expect right here? And we also don't know the level of competition he's facing, but he seems to have a knack for finding some open space.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, I'm definitely seeing the vision. When you see a guy take this ball all the way to the left, be able to stick it up in there and bounce it back to the right and outrun the defenders, he certainly has the eyesight that you like to see out of a young running back.
Is there anything that you've seen so far, again, it's a highlight tape, we know that, these things are hard to break down, that would concern you or lend itself to maybe playing on the defensive side?
You know what, I mean, he could probably do both very successfully. You know, he doesn't have the wiggle that we're traditionally used to seeing as of late with the running backs that we've been getting. And that's probably the only thing that I'll sit there and say is that, you know, he'll probably be he could be a linebacker potentially. But outside of that, I mean, he has everything else. I mean, I'm just not seeing him break down guys like we saw J.K. do or Mike Weber do, per se.
He's got a little bit more of that size, and Ohio State even kind of has one of those right now in Master Teague. He's not necessarily the pure wiggle J.K. kind of guy, but, I mean, I guess maybe in theory you wouldn't want to have too many of those with Ohio State's offense.
You need somebody that's going to put their foot in the ground and, you know, make a cut and go and get you those tough yards, certainly. And if he's a guy that can do that, I mean, more power to him. I mean, Ohio State has had success with bigger running backs in the past. You go back and
really,
you look. Exactly.
What do you know about that, Beanie? I mean,
just a thing or two.
Well, the other thing, too, like, I don't know if Ohio State necessarily, tell me what you think. They don't have to force or rush a decision, right? I mean, you have J.K. and Master Teague coming back. Potentially you can work in Jalen Gill or whatever else you want to do at running back. Marcus Crowley's going to be there. And then the linebackers have a ton of guys as well. Do you think that it would be better for Ohio State to decide right away where they think he fits, or can they wait and see what plays out a little bit?
I think you can wait and see. I mean, you can bring him in here. You can kind of get him acclimated to the weight and strength program and, you know, see where his abilities lie and where they could best fit this football team. So I don't think there's any rush right now to say he has to be a one-trick pony right away. I mean, then heck, I mean, maybe he can be that two-way player. We saw Brian Urlacher be a safety and a running back in school. So
those days seem to be going away. I mean, you don't want to tax guys too much physically, but and they're it seems like it's so much harder to play offense and defense. It's not like you're lining up in the eye and just going straight ahead anymore.
Right, you're certainly going to be bruised with the physicality of this game. Definitely, if you were to go two ways.
This is Steele Chambers, and we'll see what happens as he starts his Ohio State career. Beanie Wells will be breaking him down, maybe, if he sticks with running back. Otherwise, we'll turn it over to Zach Bourne, break him down at linebacker. But this is Steele Chambers. He's coming to Ohio State, expecting some big things. We'll see exactly where he fits moving forward. He's got some ability to play both ways. So that's Beanie Wells. I'm Austin Ward. Thanks for joining us this time at Lettermen Row, BuckIQ.